guys, here we're going to have a look through an alternative method of multiplication. It's called the lattice method. Now we're going to be using a grid looking very much like this chap. Now if you're looking at that and thinking, crikey, that looks a little bit confusing, probably does at first, but bear with me. People seem to like this method once they get into it. The reason that I teach it is because the column method seems to cause a lot of problems, and this serves as a nice little backup. Now then, the biggest advantage, the biggest pro I would say to this method is that the biggest multiplication you'll ever have to do is 9 times 9. Whereas with the column method or the grid method, I often find the biggest downfall is knowing how many zeros to put on the end of a multiplication. In this method, we don't worry about that at all. So let's have a little crack, see how we get on. So for this first example, 23 times 75. Ignore the highlighted lines for a second. We'll come to them. So what we do, instead of thinking of 23 and 75 as 23 and 75, we just break 23 into 2 and 3 and 75 into 7 and 5. So we put one number across the top, so 2 and 3 separately, and then the other number down the right hand side, like that. Now it's very important that you set the grid out like this, with the numbers working like that, and the diagonals have to be going the same as they're going here, otherwise it breaks. So each box is now a multiplication of the number above it and the number at the side. So for example, this top right box, 3 times 7 would be 21. Then to the left, 2 times 7 is 14. Then the bottom right, 3 times 5 is 15. And then the bottom left, 5 times 2 is 10. Now hopefully you're noticing there what I'm doing to the multiplications. We're splitting them up. We're splitting up the 2 digits. So what's happening is the tens go in the top left of the box and the units go in the bottom right of the box. Okay, now the highlighted lines come into play. What we now do inside the table, we add along these highlighted lines. Now you obviously don't need to draw these highlighted lines. I've just done it in this video to show you where this addition is coming from. So this bottom right guy, we've just got this 5 inside the table. Remember, ignore the numbers that are now around the outside. So this bottom right number, always start from the bottom right. So this guy will just be 5. Okay, and then we go up to the next diagonal, where we've got 1 plus 1 plus 0, which is going to give us a 2 there. And then in the next diagonal, 2 plus 4 plus 1 will give us 7. And then this top left one is just that 1. Now we read our answer down and around from the top left. So we will get our answer here as 1725, 1725. Job done. Okay, second example, 94 times 57. So again, break the numbers up, 9 and 4 and 57. I should probably say it doesn't actually matter which number we put along the top and which down the side. Not at all, it's multiplication. So top right, 4 times 5, 20. Bottom right, 4 times 7, 28. Top left, 5 times 9, 45. And then finally bottom left, 7 times 9, 63. Okay, so now we start at the bottom right again and add up along the lines. Now remember, it's only inside the table. Ignore now the ones that are on the outside. So the bottom right is going to be an 8. And then the next diagonal, 0, 2, add 3 is going to give us 5. And then if we go up a step now, something new happens. 2 plus 5 is 7. Then if we add that 6, we're going to get 13. Now as with normal column addition, we write the unit then out there, and then we carry the 10 up to the next diagonal. So I always put my 10 that I'm carrying top right of the next diagonal. So it's going to sit the top right of this next diagonal, and then it's a 1 plus a 4. It's not 41, so 1 plus 4 is 5. So we've got our answer, 5358, 5,358. Okay, moving on. 46 times 38. Remember, if you want to have a go before I go through it, pause the video if you're feeling brave. So top right, 6 times 3, 18. Bottom right, 6 times 8, 48. Top left, 4 times 3, 12. Bottom left, 4 times 8, 32. Okay, and then we add up from the bottom right diagonal. So we've just got this 8 falling out down here. Go up. 8 plus 4 is 12. Plus 2 is 14. So we put the 4 there. Carry the 1 up to the next diagonal. 1 plus 1 is 2. Add another 2 is 4. Add the 3 is going to give us 7. And then on the last diagonal we've just got this 1. Okay. Now this doesn't really get much harder, to be fair. If you're dealing with bigger numbers, and in fact it probably makes it easier to multiply bigger numbers using this method. All that we have to do is rejig our grids a little bit. So say if we were doing a 3 by 2 or a 2 by 3, we would use the grid on the left. Now we could also use a grid that was 2 along and 3 vertically. That's absolutely fine too. I just always prefer to have my longer number going across the top. It's just how I set them out, personal preference. And if we were to do a 3 by 3 multiplication, we would use this grid on the right. Now theoretically there's no limit to the size multiplication you can do. If you were going to do a 4 digit by 3 digit, you would use a 4 by 3 grid. If you were going to do a 4 digit by 4 digit, you would use a 4 by 4 grid. But we're not going to go that far in this. But what we are going to do, we're going to do one example of each of these, just to prove to you that it doesn't get any harder. Now remember, if you feel like having a go, pause the video, see how you get on. If not, let's have a crack. So 357 times 28. No different. Split our numbers up like this. Okay, 7 times 2, top right, 14. Underneath it, 7 times 8, 56. Middle top, 5 times 2, 10. Middle bottom, 8 times 5, 40. Top left, 3 times 2, 6. And bottom left, 3 times 8, 24. Okay, always start at the bottom right when we're doing the adding up. So the 6. Next diagonal, 4 plus 5 plus 0. That's just going to give us 9. Next diagonal, 1 plus 0 plus 4 plus 4 is also going to give us 9. Next diagonal, 1 plus 6 plus 2 is also going to give us 9. So 357 times 28 is 9,996. Okay, final example. A 3 by 3 then. So 3, 1, 4 by 272. Right then, let's start on the top right. So 4 times 2 is going to give us 8. Go down, 4 times 7 is going to give us 28. Go down again, 4 times 2 is going to give us 8. Top middle, 1 times 2 is 2. Now if we just get a single digit number, like here 1 times 2, we put a 0 in the tens part of the box. So 1 times 2 is 2, we write that as 0, 2. 1 times 7 0, 7. 1 times 2, again, is going to be 0, 2. Okay, top left, 3 times 2 is going to give us 6. Middle left, 3 times 7 is going to give us 21. And bottom left, 3 times 2, again, is going to give us 6. Okay, so the only difference as we get more digits in our numbers, there's more multiplying to do and there's more adding to do. But it's no big deal. So, bottom right, 8. Next diagonal, 8 plus 0 plus 2 is going to give us 10. So I'm going to put the unit there, the 0, and carry 1 up. So we got 1 plus 8 is 9, plus 2 is 11, plus 7 is 18, and then plus 0 plus 6 is going to give us 24. So I'm going to put a 4 there, and I'm carrying a 2 up to the next row. So then we've got 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 1 is going to give us 5. Then we've got 0 plus 6 plus 2, and that's going to give us 8. So 314 times 272 is equal to 85,408. Cool. Job done, guys. I hope you found that useful. Like I said, I think it's quite a nice little method. Have a go yourself. Remember, practice makes perfect. And don't forget to subscribe. Cheers, guys.